What happens if our money becomes worthless? I want to share with you a story that's really been on my mind lately. It's a conversation I had with my good friend, Daniel, and it's one that I think will resonate with anyone who's ever worried about the future, especially when it comes to finances. The thing about Daniel is, he's not the kind of person to just brush off concerns or offer empty solutions. He has a way of looking at the world that forces you to think deeper. And this conversation, about money, its value, and how we view abundance, has stayed with me ever since. Daniel grew up in a neighborhood that didn't have much by society's standards. His family wasn't destitute, but they didn't have extras. They didn't go on vacations or buy expensive toys. There was always enough food, enough love, but money was tight, and it was a struggle at times. It was a working-class neighborhood, where most families were living paycheck to paycheck. Yet, despite this, Daniel always had a sense of dignity about his upbringing, even if he didn't have all the material things other people had. He told me, when I was growing up, we always understood the value of money. Or, at least, I thought we did. Back then, money was simpler. The coins we used, like the $20 gold coin or the silver dollar, they had intrinsic value. The gold in the gold coin was worth exactly $20. The silver in the silver dollar was worth its weight in silver. It was easy to see the value of money because it was tied to something real, something tangible. He paused for a moment, looking back at his younger self. But today, it's different. The money we use now? It doesn't have any real, physical value. It's just paper, or in some cases, digital numbers. The value is based on trust in the government, the economy, and the systems that back it up. But, to be honest, I find it harder to understand what a dollar is really worth anymore. The value of money today seems so detached from the things that used to give it meaning. I nodded, understanding what he meant. It's true, today, money is often just a means of exchange, but the dollar bill or coin in our hands doesn't have any value beyond what we assign to it. The shift from tangible value to abstract value has created a kind of disconnection. Daniel continued, I've always appreciated the convenience of money. It made life easier, didn't it? You didn't have to trade a chicken for a basket of potatoes or barter for services. You could just use money, and that was that. But now, with all the artificial devaluation and inflation, it's hard to know what money actually represents. It's like trying to understand the value of something that seems to slip through your fingers. And then he said something that really struck me. It makes me think about my own search for value. How much is my work really worth? How much is my talent worth? How do I price my time and energy? At the end of the day, though, I've come to realize that the way we think about money isn't the only measure of our worth. I don't have to base my value on how much I make or how much I own. I only need to focus on what I truly want, and then allow it to come to me. At that moment, it clicked for me. Daniel wasn't just talking about money, he was talking about how we all assign value to ourselves and our lives. So often, we tie our worth to external factors, how much money we make, what we own, or what others think of us. But Daniel had come to a different realization. He continued, I've learned something valuable that I want to share with others. People get so wrapped up in worrying about their financial future, about losing their money, or about inflation, or even the possibility of another Great Depression. They're so focused on these external factors that they lose sight of what they can actually control. And that's where the real power is. When you focus on what you want, rather than worrying about the value of money or the economy, you start to align yourself with abundance. He paused, letting the idea sink in. Look, I know it's scary to think about losing money, especially with inflation and all the economic uncertainty. But here's the thing, the value of money is really not the most important thing. What's more important is what you believe about it. And more importantly, what you believe about your own worth. If you can shift your mindset to one of abundance, to focus on what you truly desire and align your thoughts with those desires, then everything else, including money, will follow. But if you keep thinking from a place of lack, if you keep worrying about losing money or not having enough, that's what you're going to keep attracting. I sat back and thought about what he was saying. So, you're saying that our beliefs about money influence how much we have or don't have? Daniel nodded. Exactly. The dollar, the coin, the paper, it's not what determines your abundance. It's your belief system. If you're constantly thinking, there's never enough, or money is hard to come by, then that's the reality you're going to create. You can't attract abundance if you're operating from a place of lack. It's a law of attraction principle. You attract what you focus on, whether it's abundance or scarcity. And the key is to align your thoughts with what you want, not with what you fear. As I listened to him, I could see that Daniel had tapped into something deep and profound. He wasn't just talking about money, he was talking about life itself, about how our thoughts shape our reality. He continued, the truth is, you can't change the world outside of you if you haven't changed the world inside of you first. So, if you want more abundance in your life, you have to start by aligning with the energy of abundance. And that means thinking thoughts that feel good, that uplift you. Every thought you think is a vibration, and that vibration attracts similar vibrations. He smiled as he wrapped up his thoughts. When you feel good, when you're in a state of positivity and abundance, that's when you know you're on the right track. But when you feel bad, when you feel fearful or anxious, you're out of alignment with what you want. And that's when things like money, health, relationships, or anything else that you desire, feel out of reach. I looked at Daniel, feeling a deep sense of clarity. What he was saying wasn't just about money, it was about how we approach life. He wasn't suggesting that we ignore reality, but rather that we shift our focus away from lack and fear, and instead focus on the abundance that's available to us. The money, the opportunities, the connections, they'll all flow more easily when we're in alignment with the energy of abundance, rather than being trapped in fear of what might happen. In the end, what Daniel taught me that day is something I think we could all benefit from. You have the power to create the life you want, and it all starts with the way you think and feel. It's not about the dollar bill in your pocket or the numbers in your bank account. It's about your beliefs, your emotions, and your ability to align with the things you truly desire. So, the next time you worry about the value of money, or the future of the economy, or anything else that feels out of your control, remember, the real power lies within you. Shift your focus to what you want, and trust that the universe will provide the means to make it happen. Because when you align your thoughts and energy with abundance, everything else will fall into place.